Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with a new weekly painting, and this time it's going to be more a chat because I want to tell you about the contrast paints, the ones that after, I will say, 6 months of using them, what are the ones that I find the most useful, and the ones that I have it but I never use it, or I don't see too much the use, the advantage of them. Okay, so let's start first with the black and the white, and I will say that these two are really very interesting. Okay, this one layer or 2 layers of this will give you a very interesting black. If you have a lot of texture, 1 layer will be enough. If the texture is not very good, it's not very in depth, then I will use 1 layer. So these two, I highly recommend them. I think they're very nice colors. To be fair, due to what I'm painting, I use more the black than the apothecary white, but I will say both are giving me very interesting results. So these two are recommended for me. Okay, let's go. I also test some of the skin tones. Okay, these are the 3 skin tones, and here I'm a little bit disappointed. I find them to be very similar to each other. I don't see big difference when you apply them on a face, on a hand, on a small parts of flesh. Okay, I will say if you have just one of them, it's good enough. Not super impressed about them. It's like applying, it's the same as applying a Cadian flesh tone and a wash of Raglan flesh sheet. Okay, so I will say it's not one of the most useful. They are interesting, but they will, if you do barbarians or something like that, they have a lot of skin, this can be interesting. If you just have a small amount of faces, like, I don't know, like the cultist, or this is even less, you only have the hands or something like that, it's not interesting. In that case, it's better to use the normal skin tone and a Raglan flesh shade. Okay, so not the most interesting for me. The other ones that I use a lot, and here you can have, I have, let me show you, these two I use it a lot. Okay, and I use a lot them on metallics. Okay, and here I will put you an example. Okay, so you see, this is going to be a better example. This is paint all in silver, and then I have applied the Griff charger where we have the steel parts. Okay, it's giving a very nice shading, very interesting. It's giving this bluish tint that will give the sensation of quite steel, right? And then the snake bite leather is the one I use to paint the gold. So these are very interesting because if you have a lot of metallization, like for example the Caradon overlords, or even if you have Necrons or Mechanicum, like these ones, okay, you can do all the metallics, and then just playing with the contrast, you can go from gold to steel, and I will go further. You can even use Agaros dunes if you want to have a lighter gold, or you can go for quite a dark copper if you use the Zygor brown. Okay, but I will say these 2 colors, if you paint a lot of metallics, I will highly recommend. It will give you very interesting results. I also use this. If you have a video, you can find video in my channel where I explain how to do gold with contrast and how to do steel with the charger. Okay, with contrast. And these 2, I highly recommend them, especially if you combine them with gold. On top, this one, it gives you quite mid-tone leather, ideal to make fur. So snake bite leather and very recommended color. To do fur, here I will give you a nice combination of colors to do fur. You apply first Agados dunes, then you apply snake bite leather, and in the darkest parts you apply Zygor brown. Doing on that, you will have a very interesting fur with a nice color transitions. You can find also a tutorial in my channel where I use this technique. Highly recommend. Don't wait that they dry, and here I will use the ability of the paints to mix. So apply first Agarose Dunes, Snake by Leather and Zygor Brown, mixing them and making going from very light to dark in the part. And this will give you very interesting way to make transitions. I highly recommend as well these three if you have to do a lot of pelts of fur. If you do skeletons, here is a question of tastes. I prefer in my case a skeleton horde, but Agarose Dunes will give you a darker skeleton. So it's another way if you have, especially in Games Workshop miniatures, we have a lot of skulls and bones and something. So it's also a good way to do it. Anyway, if you apply Flake One Flesh or Ushap Tbone and then Seraphine Sepia, you will have the same result. Okay, so this is just a different way to do the same, not super necessary to have it. The other thing I used this the military green or the quick camo with one of the two. Is good enough? I use Agarose Dunes to make bases. The Agarose Dunes is very interesting to make yellowish stones. Okay, we'll give a yellowish stones. This one is interesting to make leaves or something like that. And then you can use on top willwood. Where you have it, just give me a minute. Here it is. No, this the willwood. If you need to make some darker colors, okay. This is interesting to make bases, but to be fair, you can do the same with dry brushing and washes, okay. But it gives you an interesting an interesting way to go faster. For magical effects, I find these two colors quite interesting as well. I like more the athematic blue. Okay, if you apply this on top of a white color, you will have a very nice bluish glowing. That is also it's very interesting if you need to do some type of more magic glow, or even to do some very bright feathers or something like that. I use them both. I like them both, but I will say they are not a must, but it's nice to have. Okay, and I will say these are the colors that I use the most. Okay, I have other colors, but some of them I have not even tested yet because I did not paint these colors. Okay, so far what I learned from the contrast paints. You can apply them on top of the two colors they propose. Okay, you can apply them very easily on top of Grey Seer or Wraithbone. I also applied them a lot on top of Pallid Witch Flesh or White. Okay, they work as well, and you can even apply them on top of metallics, as I said. But always apply them even on top of Racker Flesh. On top of any light color, it will work well. I will not recommend. I don't like, at least in my taste, I don't like to combine them with Zenital priming. I don't think it's working very well. You have to do too many layers. I think the advantage, you're losing a little bit the advantage of the contrast paints, that is just to work very fast with one, maximum 2 layers and have the shading done. So I will really recommend to first apply a light color. What is the problem you can find? So if you're painting a miniature and the color if you're determining a surrounding color, the problem is that you will need to clean up that one, right? I don't know, let me put an example. So imagine that I'm painting this guy, and for anything I put some red on this pocket here. If later on I want to apply here a brown, I will need to clean up that first with a light color. If not, most likely everything will pass. So, okay. Here again on this miniature I have applied here the Zyger brown to make this leather. This here was applied on top of a brown, very light brown color. I also use the Griff Charger to do the metallics, and I use Snakebite leather on top of metallics to do some of the gold parts. This is direct Retributor armor. This one is Snakebite leather on top of metallic. So you can see here how they look like. So quite, I would say that Contours is a new tool. The more you use them, the more tweaks you find, and as well here you can see to make these two metals look differently. Here I apply some blue metallics. Okay, so in that way you can even make different types of steel or alloys, right? Like if they have different alloys on the miniature. So yeah, it's another way to paint. It's another tool to use. I will say it's complementary to the current painting or to the standard painting. I will not I'll mix them both. Here you see bases. These are bases done with contrast paints. Okay, and yeah, and dye brushing on top. So you can use the contrast paints to do the effects that you like, and to create some new ways to paint, new colors. So that's all what I want to talk here. Just to summarize, always apply contrast paints on top of light colors. I did not like how they look like on top of genital priming. These are the tools recommended by Games Workshop, but they are, if you don't have them too, they can go on top of this. You can use Tbone or Flatebone Flesh or Tbone, any of these, even Rackard Flesh Shade, you can use it. Okay, Administratum Grey. On top of all these light colors, you will have quite a decent result. Okay, so don't worry about that. If you want to still use it on top of genital priming, the genital have to be very light. Okay, so you have to have a very finish. The final results have to be very white. The two colors I think that they are the most useful ones. On the top four, I will say Apothecary, White, Black Templar, and then for metallics, Griff Charger and Snakebite leather. To be fair, I was surprised the first time I applied the Snakebite leather on top of silver. You have a very nice and shady gold. You almost have not to do any additional step. Other colors that I will recommend will be Zyger Brown or Agarus Dunes. Okay, I think these are the ones I use the most. And if you have to paint skin, one color of skin is more than enough to do that. If you want to do dark skin, Zyger Brown, it's also a good color to do dark skin. And that's all. Okay, then I use other colors. Also, I want to say that Magus Purple will give you a very pinkish color, so it's more pinkish when you apply it. And this Blood Angels is too light red for my taste. Okay, I think I prefer the other red. They don't have it at this moment, so I will need to test the darker red, but I prefer to have darker reds than the one that we have from the Blood Angels. And that's all what I want to talk here. I hope you have liked this one. Please give a like if you have liked this video. Let me know what do you think about the contrast. Let me know if you like them. Let me know if you use any of the contrast paints and what are your favorite contrasts in the comments below and how you use them. As usual, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video and see you later. Bye.